virus. If you object to your case being heard by video, please let me know when you come before me. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We're providing you with the assistance of a public defender today if you choose to utilize their services. We'll be right with you all.
Okay, I'm ready, Judge Morrow. Thank you.
When is the SAP reset date?
It's August the 8th.
Okay. Thank you. And do we know when Ms. McLeod is returning? Oh, Ms. McLeod is with me today.
Yes,
Hi.
Your Honor. I'm not leaving until Thursday, and I will be returning on the 13th. I will be back at work.
Okay. I thought you'd be were already on vacation, so
No,
glad.
I'm leaving on Thursday.
Okay, very
I'm
good.
going for track and field mostly.
Okay, excellent. Officer Milton will be ready to start whenever you're ready.
Yes, Ms. Rockamore, come on up, position 19.
What are we doing with Ms. Rockamore today? Ms. McLeod?
We are seeking a bond for her, Your Honor.
Okay, do I need to arraign her this afternoon? Or will you file a waiver?
Oh, I will file a waiver, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Good afternoon, Ms. Rockmore. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005209B with battery, family violence, and reckless conduct. Is there a history? Ms. Benson?
Your Honor, she has 12 cycles. The last arrest was June the 6th, 2017 in Fulton County for aggravated assault. There was no disposition for that arrest. She does have prior felony convictions. One in 2006 for possession of controlled substance with the intent to distribute. One in 2005 for aggravated assault. There was one in 1991 for robbery. She does appear to meet the criteria for a UJR in level 3. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Allen.
Hi, Your Honor. I apologize for my tardiness. I received both calendars late, so thank you.
Oh, you're not, I didn't notice that you were tardy, so
Oh.
you're on time as far as I'm concerned.
Can you tell me what defendant we're on right now, what position this is?
Position 19, Ms. Rockmore.
Rockmore.
Yes, and I apologize, Ms. McLeod. I thought I was on a different calendar this afternoon.
That's my case, Your Honor.
Okay.
Let me pull up my notes. So I believe what I came in on is pre-trial, giving you the history in this case. I would say the aggravated assault from 2017 that eventually was dead docketed because the defendant did pre-trial intervention was actually an assault on the same victim that we have on the case before you today. The incident here occurred on the 28th of July at 2020 Penelope Street Northwest at about 3:50 a.m. Police were called and responded to the scene where they located the defendant laying down in the grass in front of the location. She was observed to be extremely intoxicated and described as barely able to speak or stand on her own. She was able to tell the police that she poured gas on her niece's face. Her niece, the victim in this case, her name is Erica Love, also the victim in 2017. She reported that they had argued, and that was really, not much else was able to be learned from the defendant about the instance, but she made an admission to pouring gasoline on her niece. When the officers made it inside the location, they spoke to Mrs. Love, who reported that this was an ongoing situation. It happened often. Police verified that there had been numerous calls to the location for issues similar, using the Mark 43 system to pull up prior reports. The victim, Erica Love or Erica Finley, complained of irritation because the gas that was poured on her also got into her eyes, and she was evaluated by hospital personnel. We're waiting on a further update about that, but she reported that the defendant actively drinks and uses illicit drugs. And so based on the criminal history, we would ask for a surety bond, Your Honor. And if the court is not inclined to honor a surety bond, we would ask for a pretrial level 3. There's a substantial violent history, a substantial substance abuse history, and currently just the facts in front of the court today are a danger not just to this victim who has been repeatedly victimized, but to anyone living in and around the location. Mrs. Love did say that they do live together at the location, and that the incident started because the defendant asked her for some money and she told her no. We'd be requesting a stay away from the residence until the victim is able to get her items and leave, and to have no contact. So this would be a one-time, or at least a stay away until there's verification that the victim has left the premises. She's been staying there, and no contact whatsoever with Miss Erica Love Finley, Finley. Thank you.
If Miss Erica Love Finley is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Yes, Ms. McLeod.
My client has a completely different version of the facts, Your Honor. She completely denies that this is what happened. My client is 53 years old. The alleged victim, she tells me, is her niece. She also states that her niece does not live there. In fact, she tells me that her niece was brought to her house on Friday night because her niece had had an altercation with her boyfriend, and the police brought the niece to her house. She tells me that they got into an altercation because her niece brought a man to the house who is a known drug dealer, and she asked her niece that the person leave the house, and her niece refused. And she explained to her niece that she does have a boyfriend who, although he doesn't live in the house, sometimes comes there. And her niece was half naked, and that it was inappropriate for her to be undressed in the house. She tells me that what had happened was that she had gone to get some gas so that she could cut the yard. This was not a situation where she poured gas. She said when her niece attacked her, the gas was in her hand. She did not pour the gas on her niece. In fact, she says her niece was the one who attacked her and hit her with a pipe over her head. She also tells me, Your Honor, that she is disabled and she has surgery scheduled for Thursday. My client has not been in any kind of trouble since 2017, I believe, was her last arrest. And according to what was said, that charge was dismissed against her. So she obviously, even if she may have some kind of history, does not have any real recent history. And this is her home. So to ask her not to go back to her home, she tells me her niece doesn't live there, would be a hardship for her, given that she is unemployed because she lives on disability, Your Honor. So I would definitely ask that she could get some kind of UJR and that she be allowed to go back into her home. Nothing further, Your Honor.
With the battery, it'll be a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. For the reckless conduct, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3 makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. No further contact with Erica Love Finley. She can go back to the Penelope Street address with law enforcement to ensure that Erica Love Finley is not at that residence. If she's not, she can stay. If she is, she will have to collect her belongings and find somewhere else to reside. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you,
Good
Your
luck.
Honor.
You're welcome.
Yes. Your
Officer
Honor,
Miller,
can we go to the add-on calendar? And this will be add-on one.
can I, am I able to finish up with ACDC first?
Yeah, you can.
Is that all right?
Position,
Your Honor.
I think this is Ms. McLeod's last case, and I'd like to see if I can her on, if that's okay.
This is also McLeod's case.
Oh, this is Ms. McLeod's case also? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So who do I, I'm sorry, who do I have?
This is going to be the add-on one, Ms.
Mhm.
Teresa Pierce.
Thank you. Let me just address, I don't believe courtroom 2 was here when I addressed ACDC. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We're offering you the assistance of a public defender or conflict attorney today if you don't have a private attorney and wish to utilize their services. Ms. Pierce, good afternoon. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005225 with 2 counts of battery, family violence, and 1 count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
There are 2 cycles. The last arrest was July the 5th, 2024 in Fulton County for a failure to appear. She does appear to be on first offender probation for a misdemeanor. That case number is 22 SC 185380 for 2 counts of reckless conduct. That disposition date was November the 27th, 2023, and the term is for 12 months. She does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 1. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, that is also my case. The just before I start about the facts, the defendant is currently on probation for a felony level aggravated assault that was eventually reduced to 2 counts of reckless conduct. She has been on probation for that case since November of 2023. She was able to take first offender. And the victims in that case are the same victims that are before you today, very similar to the last case. 22 SC 185380. She actually just had her probation, a revocation done on her probation in May of this year because she failed to complete family violence intervention programming, but has been allowed to keep her first offender for some reason. She also has an open DUI case, Your Honor, 23 CR 002240H. The facts in this case, Your Honor, are that on the 28th of July, police were called to the victim's home. Victim is LeVar Frazier, LEVAR, FRAZIER. He and this young woman share a child, LeVar Frazier Jr. Both of those individuals were also the victims in the last case, which was an aggravated assault shooting. On scene, police observed that both this young woman and her ex-boyfriend, father of her child, had visible injuries. She was seen to be bleeding from her mouth and had a bite mark on her forearm. Her father of her child, Mr. Frazier, had swelling all over his face and a busted lip with blood all over his chest. The location is his residence. I'll give you that address in a moment. He reported that he was accosted by this young woman who came into his home while he was in the bed with another woman and assaulted him. Their 3-year-old son was present and observed this assault. We've been trying to get in touch with the defendant or the victim in this case, Your Honor, and have not been successful yet this morning or today. But again, I would note that he and their child, who's under the age of 5, were the victims in the most recent case, and that this defendant is currently on first offender probation. We would ask for a surety bond, Your Honor. There are 3 charges in this case. I would ask for $2,000 on each count to stay away from the location and have absolutely no contact with the victim. I'm going to look at the incident location again. I believe it is the victim's home and not the defendant's residence, but we'll make sure, obviously. And I'll also pull up the conditions of her current sentence. I think it's to have no contact, but perhaps because they share a child, it's no violent contact. I'll look though.
Okay. If Mr. LeVar Frazier is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 37 years old. She tells me that this gentleman is an ex of hers, but that they do share a child. She denies the allegations in the warrant and says that essentially she was the victim here. As the state has said, there is some past history between them, Your Honor. And my understanding was that this was her home. But if the state could tell me what the address is, because she's given me a home address, then we could ascertain what the situation is where that is concerned. But I understand if the court is not inclined to give her a signature bond, Your Honor, but she's not in a position to pay a huge bond. So if the court is not inclined to give her a signature bond, say at level 3, then we would ask for as low a bond as possible because she's really not in a position to pay bond. And we are okay with no further contact with the alleged victim.
So I am looking at the disposition on the 2017 case. This was disposed in November of 2023, and it says absolutely no contact with the victim, LeVar Frazier. So her assault on him on the 28th would be in violation of her first offender probation for a shooting aggravated assault. Give me one more second, I'll check the address.
My client gave me an address, which she says is her address, which is a Glen Hollow Drive address.
Her address in the jailing screen is Glenwood Road, Apartment 1 in Decatur.
Yes.
Okay, I'll just have him, if we don't know his address, I'll just have her stay away from his residence.
I'm just going to tell you the location of the incident because I don't believe it would be a Decatur address if we had the case, Your Honor.
Says 1940 Fisher Road.
Yes, that's also what I see. Fisher, Fisher Road, Southeast. So this would be a location that is not her residence where this gentleman lives. So we'd ask for a stay away from that location as well.
Okay,
I'm not sure about the custody status of the 3-year-old child. Do you have any information about that, Mrs. McLeod?
Yes, it's her child, and the child's not legitimated.
So the 3-year-old child who was a named victim in an aggravated assault that she's now on bond for and also was present for this altercation, there's been no issues as it relates to custody or visitation or access that have shifted?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
okay. For each of the battery family violence charges, it'll be $1,000 good bond. For the cruelty, a $500 good bond. Makes for a total of a $2,500 good bond. No further contact with Mr. Frazier. Stay away from the Fisher Road address. Abide by any pre-existing custody arrangements. And if they provide for if they provide for third-party transfer for visitation. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, Ms. Pierce.
Next is position 20, Ms. Rollins.
Good afternoon, Ms. Rollins. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005205J with disorderly conduct. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Just a moment, I'm pulling it now, Your Honor.
Okay. And Norris, while we're waiting on that, I just want to make sure that you see that we have Miss Chansey here, the interpreter. So at some point in time, if you all haven't made arrangements,
Yeah,
we
I
can do
see that, Your Honor. The only issue is we don't have Cook on as of yet.
Okay,
I have all Miss Kim's clients in the front of the calendar.
okay, all right, well, thank you.
We also
I
have
know,
we also have a private attorney.
okay, thank you. I know you've got it handled, Norris. I
I got
appreciate
you,
it.
Your Honor. I got
I
you.
appreciate it.
Okay.
Yes, Miss
All right.
Jackson.
Your Honor, she does not have any prior arrest on file. She appeared to meet the criteria for UJR through the jail. Nothing in addition.
Thank you. Fallon?
Yes, Your Honor, that's my case. This is an incident from July the 26th of 2024. Ms. Rollins is a co-defendant. This was a dual arrest. Her co-defendant, Mr. Haywood, came through, I believe, on the 26th for first appearance. He was given a $1,500 surety bond. Police responded to the location because they heard neighbors called a report of a fight. The defendant was heard repeatedly stating, "Fight me, I'm ready," over and over again. And that's the basis for her charge. It's a simple assault, family violence against David Daywood. They are girlfriend and boyfriend, still living in the same location. This is 3093 Washington Road, number 4 in East Point. After initially refusing to allow police into the residence, police were able to gain entry, and the defendant reported that she was packing to go on a trip and she turned the light on where her co-defendant was sleeping, and they engaged in an argument. He alleged that she broke his telephone. She reported that he got physical with her and there was damage done to the bathroom. Those are the things that Mr. Haywood was charged with. Mrs. Rollins is simply charged with saying, "Fight me, I'm ready." That is a simple assault. She has no other arrests, Your Honor. We would ask for an SOB through the jail or through pretrial at your discretion. $1,500 is what her co-defendant got. We would say that makes a lot of sense, if not less than that. Thank you.
So did they live together?
Yes.
And did he have to stay away from that address or not?
They do live together. I believe that they're no longer together. Let me look at I don't know that I was able to pull up his bond order. Ms. McLeod, do you have any info? I can see now if I can see.
They lived together for approximately 2 weeks. This is my client's home. Her name is on the lease. She doesn't want him back there.
Okay. And Miss Allen, my calendar has a disorderly conduct. Was this upgraded?
Yes, Your Honor, I changed that
Okay.
charge.
Okay, and I just want to make sure that that we have that correct.
Absolutely.
Ms. Strong, is that what you have? Or
What was the charge you changed it to?
well, on the calendar it says disorderly conduct, but it's apparently it's been upgraded to simple assault, family violence.
Your Honor, I don't believe that the facts even support this charge. I read the warrant. I spoke with my client, and she explained to me that he hit her and was coming, he was very threatening, and essentially she was just trying to protect herself. She had no intentions of fighting him or anything like that. And she was the one who called the police. I don't see how that is a simple assault when he was the aggressor. And
We can deal with that down the road, Ms. McLeod. I just want to make sure that I have it properly so that we can move forward today. So if that's what they have, and I understand your argument, but if that's what they have now indicted her, accused her of, then I just want to make sure that we have that correct.
It still says disorderly conduct in the system, and that's what's on the calendar. So that's what I have on my bond order as well.
Okay. So the bond for Mr. Haywood says stay away from the location.
Good.
So we would not request that in this situation. She's charged with a simple assault, which is what I filed down because it is alleged.
You went on mute, Miss Allen. You went on mute.
I
It
apologize.
is alleged is the last that we heard.
It's alleged that she said in front of the police on the scene, "Fight me, I'm ready," over and over and over again as a simple assault. It's neither here nor there at this point. I think either would be substantiated, but this is a dual arrest. I think we've established that this is her residence and she has never been arrested before. Thanks.
Okay.
Make
Your
sure
Honor,
the charges match.
I'm going to give her SOB to the jail, Ms. McLeod. if that's
Thank you, Your
okay.
Honor. That was what I was going to request.
Okay, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through the jail, no further contact with Mr. Haywood, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Rollins.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I
Next,
apologize, Judge. I missed you said no further conduct and what else?
Drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Thank you.
Okay,
Your Honor, that concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, I'll see you next time, Ms. McLeod. Have a good
Thank you.
afternoon.
You too, Your Honor.
Thank you.
next we have
yeah.
position 21, Ms. Solano.
Good afternoon, Ms. Solano. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005207D with theft by receiving stolen property and possession and use of drug-related objects. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, there are 6 cycles. The last arrest was July the 9th, 2021 with the City of Atlanta for possession and use of drug-related objects. There was no disposition for that arrest. She does appear to have an open case pending in Fulton County for 3 counts of entering an automobile. There are 3 different counts. Those case numbers are 24 PI 000130 and 24 PI 000286. The last case is 24 PI 000431. She does have 1 prior misdemeanor conviction in 2024 with the City of Atlanta for possession and use of drug-related objects. Nothing in addition, Your Honor. She does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 2. Nothing in addition.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from the 26th of June. The defendant was in the custody of the Fulton County Jail twice this year for entering auto, and that would be the basis for the cases pretrial just explained. She is now, as of April the 30th of 2024, she was released on surety bonds for those charges, Your Honor. This is an incident that occurred on the 27th of June at 203 Forsyth Street Southwest. The defendant, after a call was made that someone had stolen out of a vehicle a backpack with a purse inside belonging to the victim, Rachel Sanchez. A description was given of the defendant. A caller to 911 reported they had seen this defendant reach in and take the book bag out of this vehicle. A description was provided and police nearby saw the defendant and made contact, detained her. She had her backpack and inside the backpack were the belongings associated with victim Sanchez, including 2 specific identification cards for victim Rachel Sanchez. The same day, once police put pieces together, there was an entering auto reported in the same parking deck where Ms. Sanchez's vehicle was. When this defendant was arrested on July the 9th, she was in possession of a glass pipe. That's the basis for the second charge, the possession of drug objects, Your Honor. We would ask for a surety, Your Honor, of $2,000. She's got 3 open entering auto cases that she's out on bond for.
Hey, yes, good afternoon, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mrs. Solano, she is 30 years old and Your Honor, she has been struggling with homelessness. She does not have a place to go. She's been going in and out of the jail. She does have a mailing address of her sister's place. However, she has not had any employment for the last 10 years because of her medical reason. And Your Honor, she does get disability checks, and I requested social worker to have a visit with her to provide housing and BHET. And she does have some college educations from Colorado Tech University for business. And Your Honor, we would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial level 2, since she has no funds to pay for any bond. And this happened on June 27th, and it has been more than a month ago. And she has been in custody ever since from July 9, 2024. Thank you.
Okay, for the theft, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. For the possession of drug-related objects, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No further contact with Rachel Sanchez. Social worker visit to assist with housing and BHET, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Solano.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. May we be excused?
Yes, I'll see you next time, Officer Melton. Be safe.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Your Honor, courtroom 1 will be logging on shortly.
Okay,
Mr. Cook, the Spanish interpreter, and courtroom 1 in a breakout. And this is going
Okay.
to be position number 11. In front of you, Mr. Jason Keith. He has a private attorney.
Your Honor, Bill Crescentius representing Mr. Keith.
Yes, good afternoon. And good afternoon to you, Mr. Keith. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005222A with reckless conduct and battery. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has one prior cycle that was on April the 26th, 2021 in Florida for possession of cocaine. That charge was amended to drug equipment possession, a misdemeanor. There was no disposition for it. He does appear to meet the criteria for a UJR through the jail. Nothing in addition.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Essiana.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This incident took place on July 27th of this year at 3254 Watson Bend in Milton. This was a 21st birthday party. It's my understanding the defendant was a guest at that birthday party. The victim in this case was also a guest at that birthday party. His name was Tyler Latimer. There were several witnesses to what happened there. The defendant was very intoxicated. He began arguing with the victim, and he hit him on his rear with the butt of a BB gun initially, and then shot him at close range in the right hamstring with that BB gun. The BB is currently lodged deep in the muscle of the victim at this time. He was rushed to the hospital. The doctors actually cannot surgically remove it based on where it is and the risk for permanent damage. The victim is currently in a wheelchair and unable to walk. There were, again, several witnesses to this where he went up and intentionally shot him. Of course, this case may be upgraded to an aggravated battery once our office has more information. We have spoken with the victim today. He states that the defendant is his friend's father. He was at the friend's house for the party. The defendant kept yelling at him to get downstairs. The defendant came in, got in his face, began yelling, and then shot him. He states that the bullet's still in his muscle. He obviously wants no contact. Given the severity of everything that's happened here, Your Honor, I understand he has limited criminal history, but the state is requesting a surety bond in this case, $2,000 on each count, no further contact with the victim, an alcohol and drug evaluation based on the several witnesses who stated that the defendant was very intoxicated, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. I would ask for a stay away if it's his house, but based on what I just read from the victim, it looks like the defendant lives there, so we wouldn't ask for a stay away in that case. Thank you.
Yes, Counsel.
Your Honor, Mr. Keith is 51 years old. And just to clear this up, this incident took place at his house. This was, I believe the evidence is going to show, an unruly guest at his own house. He was not visiting the party. It was his daughter's party, but he's the owner of the house. Mr. Keith is a lifelong resident of both Gwinnett and Fulton counties, has strong ties to the community. His parents live in Fulton, ex-wife, 2 daughters, all live in Fulton. He's employed in the family business, which is Idlewood Interiors. It's a large floor covering business. And obviously there would be no reason for there to be any contact with any of these witnesses if released on bond. So we would ask for a reasonable bond to be set.
Okay. For the reckless conduct, it'll be a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the battery, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $6,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Tyler Latimer, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck, Mr. Keith.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything further this afternoon?
No, sir.
All right. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Can we do a breakout with the Spanish interpreter, Mr. Cook, and courtroom number 1?
Okay, so if we can, good afternoon, Ms. Chansey. Thank you for being here with us this afternoon. So if we can put Ms. Chansey, Mr. Cook, and courtroom 1 in a breakout, please.
Okay, Judge.
All right, thank you, Ms. Grace. All right, who do we have in courtroom 2?
This is going to be add-on number 2, Mr. Marquise Rogers.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Rogers. You have been charged in case 24 CR 005224Y with 2 counts of battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 11 cycles. The last arrest was May the 4th, 2024 in Clayton County for a probation violation. He does appear to be on probation in Clayton County for a DUI. That disposition date was January the 16th, 2024, and the term is for 12 months. He does have a prior felony conviction. It was in 2017 out of Florida for arson in the 1st degree and cruelty towards children and aggravated assault. He does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 3. Nothing in addition.
Thank you. Ms. Allen?
Yes, Your Honor, that's my case. And actually that conviction out of Florida is for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and that would make him ineligible based on SB 63. This is an incident that occurred at 2135 Godby Road, 43-757 at about 9:30 p.m. The victim in this case name is Cassandra, and I'm going to spell the last name for you, MEENAGHAN, Meangan, I believe. Police responded to the location, which is the Chelsea Garden Apartments, on a call about a domestic. There they met with the victim, who reported that her ex-boyfriend who lives with her assaulted her. She identified Mr. Rogers. She was visibly upset on scene and had bruises and scratches to her head and arms. She reported that he came home very intoxicated and they argued, and that he pinned her down on the couch and began striking her repeatedly with his closed fists to her head and body. She actually showed police surveillance video of the inside of her residence that captured that beating. The defendant had fled before police arrived on scene, but his vehicle description was provided to the police, and she was told to call if he comes back. She called the police back again about an hour later at 10:45, and reported that the defendant had returned. When police got to the location, they observed him in his vehicle, and he was detained. It was noted that he had a very strong alcohol odor about him. So he does have a prior offense that you just heard about, arson, cruelty, not cruelty in the 3rd degree, cruelty on a child and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon out of Duval County, disposition 2017. He had an arrest following that for an attempted arson that I don't see a disposition for. In 2013, he has a simple battery family violence conviction out of East Point. And he's got a DUI disposition from 2023 in Clayton County, and just had a probation violation on that, Your Honor. The victim and the defendant are no longer in a relationship, and they do not share children. She has corroborated and confirmed the events in the warrant. She wants no contact, and we would like a stay away order for the location with a one-time escort to retrieve any belongings. We would ask for a $10,000 signature bond, Your Honor, with the requirement to stay away, have absolutely no contact. And that address again is 2135 Godby Road. That is the Chelsea Garden Apartments, number 43757.
You said 10,000 signature?
No, good bond, I apologize. 5 on each. There are 2 charges for battery family violence.
Just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Minigan, I see you on the line. If you would like to address the court, you certainly don't have to address the court, but if you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. If you would like to, you'll have to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in. Okay, does not appear that she would like to address the court. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 32 years old. He was born and raised here in Georgia, Your Honor, and he is gainfully employed, and he's a father of 5 children, Your Honor, all minors from 9 years old to 16 years old, and he is expecting another child on the way, and he is the sole provider for those children, Your Honor. He provides child support, and he works very hard. And he has up to 11th grade of high school education, and also he is pursuing his GED. He does have a certificate from medical billing. However, he does not have a GED yet. He's working on it, and we would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial level 3. Right now, if he does not get his victim to bond him out, he has nobody to bond him out. So there's no way he's going to be able to get out. And since she does not want to have any contact, my client does not object to that. He will stay away from the location and have no contact with her. However, he does need to have a signature on bond through pretrial level 3. I do understand that it may be ineligible for because of SB 63. Then we would like to request for a surety bond for maximum $1,000 per each charge, $2,000 per maximum. Thank you.
Minigan, if you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me. The other hand, do you swear from the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
I want, like y'all said, I want no contact. I want absolutely no contact. I want him to come and get his stuff and leave. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not bonding him up. I'm not helping him get out of jail. Nothing. I'm completely and 100% done with this. And that's all I have to say is I'm done.
All right. Thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Minigan. All right. So it'll be a $1,500 good bond on each charge, makes for a total of a $3,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Minigan. Stay away from the Godby Road address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings, no drugs, alcohol, weapons, while out on bond. Mr. Rogers, let me just make clear to you what no contact means. No contact means absolutely no contact. You can have a one-time escort with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings, but you can have no personal contact with Ms. Minigan. You can have no phone contact with her. You can have no internet contact with her. You can have no contact with her whatsoever. If you do, you'll be in violation of the bond, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 15, and that's gonna be Kayla Minor.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Minor. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005216H with criminal trespass and theft by taking. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yeah, there are 2 cycles. The last arrest was January the 1st, 2020 out of Jacksonville, North Carolina for a misdemeanor larceny. There was no disposition for that arrest, and there are no convictions. She appeared to meet the criteria for UJR a level 2, nothing in addition.
Stasiano?
Your Honor, this incident took place on July 26, 2024 at the El Superpen restaurant at Ponce City Market. The manager at the restaurant approached an officer who was working a private job there and advised that the defendant went into the ice cooler of the restaurant and stole several beverages valued at over $100. The manager also advised the defendant has repeatedly tried to steal from this location and has been issued several criminal trespass warnings. The state is requesting a signature bond through pretrial. She does have a prior theft judge out of a different state, as pretrial just said. In an abundance of caution, I'd ask for it to go through pretrial because if it is a conviction, I believe it would be restricted. Stay away from the El Superpan and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol. Thank you.
Yes.
Your client is 26 years old, and she is actually graduated from high school 2016 at North Carolina, and she has been here in Georgia. Your Honor, she has been struggling with her homelessness, and she was extremely thirsty and hungry. And we would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial level 2, as she is recommended. So I do understand that that it could be ineligible for signature on bond if there was a conviction, but pretrial clearly said that there was no conviction and nothing has been verified. And Your Honor, we would like to request for a signature on bond. Thank you.
It'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 for each count. So it makes it for a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Stay away from the incident location, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Miss Minor, please do not say anything. You have a right to remain silent. Thank you.
She was just asking if she gets out today, Miss Kim, so.
Thank you.
Next, Your Honor, is gonna be position number 16, Mr. Overton.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Overton. You have been charged in case 24 CR 005217E with public drunk, willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, interference with government property, criminal trespass, simple assault, and one additional misdemeanor offense. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 19 cycles. The last arrest was February the 10th, 2024 in Greene County, Georgia for a DUI, a misdemeanor. He does appear to have open cases pending. There's an open case pending in Greene County for a DUI. There's an open case in Spalding County for possession of Schedule 1 controlled substance and unlawful to come inside the guard lines to deliver to inmate a controlled substance. And there appears to be one in Fulton County. That case number is 23 CR 004817 and the letter E for battery. And he does have a prior felony conviction. It's in 2018 out of Clayton County for obstruction of an officer. And he has misdemeanor convictions. One in 2020 out of Clayton County for battery. One in 2015 out of Clayton County for battery. And there's another one in 2015 out of Clayton County for simple battery, family violence. One in 2012 out of Clayton County for a DUI and driving while license suspended or revoked. And he does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 3. Nothing in addition.
Thank you, Ms. Desiano.
Your Honor, this incident took place on July 27th of this year. Officers responded to the YMCA at 1600 Prior Road. It's my understanding that location also has a youth center component. So when I refer to the YMCA, I'm referring to the entire building. Essentially, the defendant was irate. He was extremely intoxicated outside of the YMCA and the youth center. There's obviously lots of children there. The defendant was asked to leave several times. He refused. He pulled down his pants and began urinating in front of everyone. He was arrested and then refused to get into the patrol vehicle and barricaded his body against the officer so he wouldn't go in. The officer eventually got him into the patrol car and he started kicking everywhere. He tried to damage the vehicle. And then when he got to the detention center, he tried to strike the intake nurse, but missed, and that's the basis for the assault. Your Honor, he has an extensive criminal history, several violent offenses. The state would request a surety bond. If the court's not inclined to do a surety bond, then a signature bond at level 3 with a BHET component. No further violent contact with any of the jail staff, a stay away from the YMCA, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 32 years old. He does have a GED education. He is gainfully employed at warehouse. He's been working there for 1.5 years. And Your Honor, he is willing to do AA classes and get a signature on bond through pretrial level 3. He does have two minor children who are only 9 and 4 years old, and he resides together with them, and he's the sole provider for those minor children, and he does need to go back and take care of them. And Your Honor, we would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial level 3. Thank you.
Okay, for the PI, it'll be a $500 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Public drunk, $500 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Obstruction, $500 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Interference with government property, $500 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Criminal trespass, $500 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Simple assault, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Makes for a total of a $3,500 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Stay away from the YMCA on Prior Road. Weekly AA classes, a social worker visit for BHET, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Overton.
Your Honor.
Thank you. You go to the. I'm sorry, bro. In the back, you want to take them too? Your Honor, you can do the Spanish interpreter case.
Okay.
This
And
is
can you
number
tell?
12.
12, thank you. If you raise your right hand for me, please, Ms. Chansey. Do you
Thank you, Your Honor.
and do you swear affirm to translate from English to Spanish and Spanish to English to the best of your ability?
I do, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Laguna. You have been charged in case 24 CR 005214F with battery family violence.
Buenas tardes, señor Laguna. En el caso 24CR005214F, usted ha sido acusado por golpes y lesiones, violencia familiar.
Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
¿Hay antecedentes, señora Jackson?
He does not have any prior arrests on file, Your Honor.
¿No tiene ningún arresto en archivo, su señoría?
He appears to meet the criteria for UJR in level 1.
Él parece cumplir los requisitos para ingresar al programa UJR en el nivel 1.
Ms. Desiana?
Your Honor, this incident took place on July 27th, 2024. Officers responded to 8350 Roswell Road in Sandy Springs regarding a domestic dispute.
Este incidente ocurrió el 27 de julio del 2024, en donde la policía respondió a una llamada del 8350 Roswell Road.
Upon arrival, they made contact with the victim, Fraylin Hidalgo Villarreal, who lives at the location with her boyfriend, who's the defendant.
Al llegar, la policía hizo contacto con Praylin Villarreal, quien vive en ese domicilio con su novio, el acusado.
The victim advised that her boyfriend punched her in the face, and the officer observed that her face was red and swollen.
La víctima declaró que ella había recibido un puñetazo en la cara y la policía pudo observar enrojecimiento e inflamación.
The defendant barricaded himself in a bedroom but was eventually arrested.
Fue eventually what?
Arrested.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
El acusado se había encerrado en su habitación, pero eventualmente fue arrestado.
Our office has been in touch with the victim. She states that she and the defendant have been together for 4 years. They are no longer residing together now, though.
Nuestra oficina se ha contactado con la víctima, quien declaró que ella y el acusado han vivido juntos durante 4 años, pero no están viviendo ahora juntos.
She states they've had arguments in the past, but never to this extent.
También declaró que habían tenido peleas, pero nunca a este nivel.
The victim confirmed the events in the warrant, stated she was not afraid of the defendant. However, she would like no contact and a stay away from 8350 Roswell Road and a one-time police escort to collect his things.
She is not afraid, or she is afraid?
She is not afraid of him, but would like a no contact,
Thank you.
a stay away from. Yeah.
La víctima también agregó que ella no le teme, pero sí quisiera una orden de distanciamiento, de no tener contacto, y también que una vez pueda ir a retirar sus pertenencias personales.
The state's requesting a signature bond through pretrial, no further contact with the victim, a stay away from the incident location, taking complete anger awareness classes, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol out on bond.
La fiscalía propone una condena de la siguiente manera, dándole fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio en el nivel 1, no tener más contacto con la víctima, mantenerse distanciado de la residencia y tomar un curso de manejo de la ira, y queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté bajo fianza.
And if your honor could sound for the victim at the appropriate time, nothing further.
Sí, por favor, podemos llamar a la víctima. Señora Praylin Villarreal, o señorita Praylin Villarreal. Está en la plataforma de Zoom, por favor, avísenos.
Doesn't appear so. Thank you. Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor. My client does have another place to go until this is resolved. So we have no objection to a stay away or to a no further contact. We would object to the anger awareness course, and we have no objection to the signature bond, although we would prefer to the jail since it's well, we would prefer it to the jail.
También mi cliente no tiene ningún tipo de objeción en no tener más contacto o mantenerse distanciado de la dirección hasta que esto se resuelva, pero sí objetamos ante la proposición de un programa de manejo de la ira. Preferiríamos que la fianza bajo firma se realice a través de la cárcel.
B, a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with the alleged victim. Stay away from the Roswell Road address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
La fianza es de $3,000 bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio en el nivel 1. No tener más contacto con la víctima alegada, mantenerse distanciado de la dirección de Roswell Road y puede ir una vez con un oficial de policía a retirar sus pertenencias personales y queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté bajo fianza.
Good luck to you, Mr. Laguna.
Buena suerte, señor Laguna.
Thank you, Your Honor.
May
And
the
thank you.
interpreter be dismissed, Your Honor?
Yes, thank you. Appreciate your help.
You're welcome, sir. Have a good day.
Your Honor, what was that bond amount?
3,000 signature through pretrial level 1.
Thank you. Next, we have position 1, Ms. Austin.
Good afternoon, Ms. Austin. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005203Y with disorderly conduct. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Does not have any prior arrests on file, Your Honor. She was recommended for UJR at level 1. No history. I'm not sure if they meant a UJR jail on that disorderly conduct, Your Honor. Nothing in addition.
Desiano?
Your Honor, this incident took place on July 5th of this year at the Publix at 8725 Roswell Road in Sandy Springs. The victim in this case, Gabrielle Gatewood, advised that the defendant approached her in Publix and was screaming and yelling about some past incident, continued to follow her through the store, and eventually slapped a pack of cupcakes out of her hand at the checkout line. The incident was caught on the Publix security cameras and clearly showed the defendant as the primary aggressor. Our office has been in touch with the victim. She states that she and the defendant were childhood friends. They have not seen or really been friends in the last several years. She stated that she went into the Publix and saw the defendant. The defendant came up to her and began threatening her and following her around in the store. She has filed for a TPO, which was granted. So goes without saying, she wants no contact. Our office is requesting a signature bond through the jail is fine. Is disorderly restricted?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, through the jail is fine. No further contact with the victim. Stay away from the Publix. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol out on bond. And if the court can sound for Miss Gatewood, I expect she will be on the Zoom.
Last name is Gatewood.
Yes, sir.
If Ms. Gatewood is with us and would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Okay. Any objection to any of the state's requests, Mr. Cook?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through the jail, no further contact with the alleged victim. Stay away from the Publix on Roswell Road, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck, Miss Austin.
You know. Next, Your Honor, we're going to go to position number 18, Mr. Terrence Reed.
Good afternoon, Mr. Reed. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005208A with driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 11 cycles. The last arrest was March the 10th, 2013, and that was with the City of Atlanta Police Department for possession of marijuana less than an ounce. He does have prior felony convictions, one in 2008 for theft by taking, one in 1997 out of DeKalb County for possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute, and one in 1992 out of DeKalb County for possession of controlled substance. He does have misdemeanor convictions. It's one in 2013, the City of Atlanta for possession of marijuana less than an ounce, one in 1999 out of DeKalb County with theft by shoplifting, one in 1998 for driving while license suspended or revoked, and one in 1992 out of DeKalb County with theft of service. He does appear to meet the criteria for a UJR, a level 2, nothing in addition.
Alan?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a DUI case that occurred on July the 28th, 2024 at about 2 a.m. at 2505 Godby Road in College Park. An officer on location at the Backstage Bar and Lounge reported to police that there was a very intoxicated male trying to leave the location. College Park Police Officer Belote arrived on scene and witnessed the defendant driving through the parking lot. He was unable to follow simple directions. He had been observed by the off-duty officer who made the call, driving through the parking lot at a high rate of speed, almost causing a collision. A traffic stop was initiated. Officer smelled the odor of alcohol, and the defendant admitted to drinking 2 drinks. He refused to exit the vehicle. He then resisted arrest and tensed his arms and straightening them, avoiding being cuffed. He also appeared to talk to himself as if he were on the phone, based on his admissions and the smell of alcohol, as well as his issues following commands and the way he was driving. He was arrested for DUI less safe and willful obstruction, Your Honor. We would ask for a $2,000 bond through pretrial, the level that was recommended. There is a history, but it is not recent, and it is mostly substance abuse related.
Any objection to any of the state's requests, Ms. Kim?
No objection, Your Honor. We would like to do a signature on bond through pretrial level 1. Thank you very much.
Okay, for the DUI, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. For the obstruction, a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck, Mr. Reed.
Next, we're going to position number 22, Mr. Corey Spence.
Good afternoon, Mr. Spence. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005213G with 1 misdemeanor offense. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 16 cycles. The last arrest was November the 21st, 2021 in Athens, Clarke County, Georgia, for a probation violation. He does appear to have an outstanding hold out of Athens, Georgia, for a probation violation. The date on that warrant was September the 20th, 2023. Also, he has an outstanding hold out of Decatur, Georgia, for a failure to appear. Underlying charge was not listed. The date on the warrant was October the 19th, 2023. And he does have prior felony convictions. One in 2017 out of Athens, Clarke County, Georgia, for possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute, and fleeing or attempting to elude an officer, and possession of a firearm during commission of a felony. And he did receive first offender treatment in 2014 out of DeKalb County for 2 counts of possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute. That case was sealed September the 17th, 2019. And he does have 1 misdemeanor sentence. It's in 2021. He received a nolo contendere sentence out of Clayton County for driving without a valid license. He does appear to meet the criteria for a UJR level 3. Nothing in addition.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident that occurred on July the 28th of 2024 at about 6:30 a.m. Police at MARTA were notified that there was someone on train 303 who had exposed themselves. They spoke to the witness, Mrs. Turning, Cynthia Turning. She reported that while sitting across from her on the train, the defendant had his pants down and was exposing himself to her. This was confirmed using surveillance footage from CCTV footage. The defendant was arrested for public indecency. I don't see any prior public indecency charges, although I do see the holds out of Athens Clark and DeKalb for prior robbery and theft convictions and drug convictions. We would be asking for a $2,000 surety bond, or if the court is not inclined to do a surety bond, an SOB through pretrial level 3. Stay away from MARTA.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 43 years old, and we would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial level 3. Your Honor, he has a hold at DeKalb County, so he is not going anywhere except another 2 different agency has a hold, so he will be incarcerated quite a bit. And he does have a disability, and he has 4 children, Your Honor, that he has to also provide. However, he's not able to do. He completed up to 9th grade, and he has done Job Corps. We would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial. Thank you.
Okay, it'll be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. No further contact with Cynthia Turning. Stay away from MARTA, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck, Mr. Spence.
Doing very well. Next, Your Honor, we go to position number 23, Mr. Tang Yu.
Good afternoon, Mr. Yu. You've been charged in case 24CR005219G with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 2 cycles, and this is going to be a bond surrender, Your Honor. The last arrest was February 24th, 2024 in Fulton County for the violation of a family violence order. That case appeared to be still pending. That case number is 24CR002944 and the letter G. And he was out on a signature bond through pretrial services for simple battery, family violence, 3 counts. That case number is 23CR004630 and the letter G. Nothing in addition.
Thank you, Ms. Desiano.
Your Honor, this incident took place on July 28th of this year. A witness called 911 to report a domestic dispute between the defendant and his girlfriend at 4645 Belays Court in John Creek. This victim is Jalen Walton. She is different from the victims from his pending cases. The witness saw the defendant strike the victim. The police arrived and made contact with Miss Walton. She was crying. She had redness and swelling on her face, and her clothes were stretched as if she had been in a fight. She advised that she and her boyfriend were moving some items out of her parents' home into their house, and they got into an argument. She felt bad for arguing and went up to him to try to apologize, and he struck her in the face. Your Honor, this defendant's entire history is violent. He has 2 open cases involving his other family members. The family violence case is a different victim from the simple battery, but they all have the same last name. So my guess is that they're all interrelated somehow. And you heard pretrial surrendering his bond. So the state would ask for a surety bond in this case, at least $2,500. I think it's appropriate here. No further contact with Miss Walton. A stay away from the incident location and their residence. I believe they live in the same complex. I believe the 4645 Belays Court in Johns Creek may be the victim's parents' address, but nonetheless, no further contact with the victim. And no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond, and anger management if the court's inclined. Thank you. Oh, and if the court can sound for Miss Walton, we have not been in touch with her today.
Ms. Walton is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is actually divorced, and he does have a 6-year-old daughter that he has to pay child support $700 a month. However, as of now, he has been unemployed. So he does not have any income to pay for any bond. So we would like to request for a signature on bond through a pretrial, even level 4. He is U.S. citizen. He has been here in Georgia for last 8 years, and he denies the allegation. He claims that it is another person's MH that kind of caused all this drama, and we would like to request for a signature on bond. Thank you. We have no objection
Honor.
to wait and no further contact.
If I may briefly respond, the officer did talk to, so the girlfriend does have an MH diagnosis where she did scratch herself as part of some of the movements of her body that are involuntary. And she initially told police officers that it was her disability that caused her injuries. However, once the police separated her from the defendant, she did admit that he struck her. And again, there was a third-party witness who witnessed him strike her and call the police. Thank you.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Walton. Stay away from the incident. Well, stay away from her residence. I'm not sure if he needs to go back there, but if he does, he can have a one-time escort to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Ms. Kim, your client has his hand up.
Mr. Yu, I strongly recommend you to stay silent. You have a right to remain silent. If you have any question, you are more than welcome to call me.
Okay, good luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
We're gonna go to position number 2, Mr. David Anthony.
Good afternoon, Mr. Anthony. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005204F with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 5 cycles. The last arrest was June the 10th, 2024 in Clayton County for a failure to appear. The underlying charge was not listed. He does appear to be on first offender probation in Fulton County for aggravated assault. That case number is 22 SC 183849. That disposition date is March the 2nd, 2023, and the term is for 2 years and 4 months. I think he had 8 months of confinement. Also, he does appear to have an open case pending in Fulton County for cruelty to children and battery. That case number is 23 CP 224361. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Judge, this incident took place on July 27th of this year. Officers were dispatched to 2070 Allison Court in Atlanta regarding a domestic dispute. The victim in this case is McKenna Clark. Ms. Clark is also the victim in the aggravated assault case and also the victim in the open felony battery case. She stated that the defendant is her child's father. They got into an argument and he hit her in the face. Police actually responded to that address earlier that day regarding a verbal dispute between the two parties. The defendant was apparently asking for money for drugs. He was acting very aggressively, and the police were able to de-escalate the situation and told the victim to call back if it escalates, and she did so when it escalated. The police, the second time they were called out, they spoke to a witness, Mr. John Hawley, who stated that the defendant got into the victim's face. He hit her in the face, and then he got in between them and defended Miss Clark to prevent the defendant from hitting him again. We have spoken to the victim in this case. She states that they have a child together, they live together. She states that the defendant was acting aggressively. She called the police because she didn't want it to escalate. She is a past victim. There are 2 cases where he has been ordered to have absolutely no contact with her. The 22 SC, I'm sorry, pretrial read you those case numbers. She would still like to have contact despite all of that, Your Honor, respectfully, of course, given that this is now the 3rd incident involving the same victim. The state's going to request no contact. I don't believe that this defendant is a candidate for a signature bond. He's not following his previous bond orders. The state would ask for a surety bond of at least $5,000, no further contact with this victim, stay away from the incident location, taking complete anger management courses, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond, and if the court can sound for Ms. Clark.
Ms. Clark, I see you there. If you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I would need for you to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I have to swear you in if you would choose to address the court this afternoon. Okay, Ms. Kim, is this your case?
I believe this is Mr. Cook's case, but I just want to double check. Yes, he is.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Could I verify the incident location again? I apologize, Ms. Tessiano, but I
Sure,
somehow
it's 2070 Allison Court.
Okay. We have no problem with the stairway or the no further contact. My client is living elsewhere. We would object to the anger management course, and we would be seeking a much lower surety bond. My client is not working and has no employment. We would prefer a signature bond, but I'm not sure about the don't have my cheat sheet with me, but we would prefer a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate.
Okay, it would be a $2,000 good bond, no further contact with Ms. Clark. Stay away from the Allison Court address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
And Your Honor, for the record, it looks like the victim's commenting she would like the defendant to go to rehab.
Okay, as this is just a bond here, and I'll leave that for a later date. Ms. Strong?
I wanted to confirm. I know she said it was 2070, but on the warrant it says 2060. So I just want to make sure I write the right address on the bond.
Oh, whatever's on the warrant is correct. I could have, my fat fingers probably hit the wrong button.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Anthony.
Let's do, I have a question.
You have a right to remain silent, sir. Anything you say can be used against you. Mr. Cook, you want to advise him?
Your Honor, yes, Mr. Anthony, I would prefer you not speak about any details, but if you have a question about the specifics of the bond, yes, nothing other than that.
Okay, I want to know what like a good bond is. Is it like a signature bond or do I
No,
have?
a good bond, it's a surety bond, it's a money bond. You could pay it, or you could go through a bondsman.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position 13, Mr. McElhannon.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. McElhannon. You've been charged in case 24 CR 0052223J with 2 counts of criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He does not have any prior arrests on file, Your Honor. He appeared to meet the criteria for a UJR through the jail. Nothing in addition.
Stasiano?
Your Honor, this incident took place on July 28th of this year at 1565 Stelton Way. That is the home of Rochelle McElhannon. That is the defendant's mother. She called the police because her son was having a meltdown and throwing things everywhere. But when the police arrived, there was broken glass on the floor and her wooden floor was dented. The defendant threw a dumbbell at the floor and also smashed a glass. Our office has been in touch with his mother. She states that there is an MH diagnosis. There is an issue with medication compliance, and that's mostly because of an insurance issue. I guess the insurance he doesn't currently have insurance. She is asking of the court if there's any way to get help with medication compliance given his issues with the insurance. She stated she's not in fear of the defendant and is okay with him returning back to the residence. So the state would ask for a signature bond, no further violent contact, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol. And if there's anything that can help with that side of it, whether it's a BHET or whatever. Nothing further.
McElhannon, I see you there. If you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. If you would like to address the court, only for you to activate your camera for me, and I'll have to swear you in. Yes, ma'am. If you raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down, ma'am. And Ms. McElhannon, let me just let you know that I understand that there might be some issues with your son. This is live on YouTube. This is only a bond hearing this afternoon. I would prefer, and I'm sure that Ms. Kim would also prefer, that you don't discuss those issues in this forum, given that it is live on YouTube. With that said, what would you like to tell the court?
If that's the case, then I'd rather not speak.
Okay.
As
I'm
the-
happy. I'm happy that, and again, this is just a BHET. Let me ask you: are you willing to have your son? Does he live with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you willing to have him back with you?
Yes, sir. I would like him to get some medical attention as well.
I can order a BHET in the case, which may assist to some extent. And you do wish to have contact with him, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything further, ma'am?
What is a BHT?
I'll have Ms. Kim explain that to you. We'll give you her name and number before you leave today, okay?
Yes. Thank you,
All
Your
right.
Honor.
You're welcome. Yes, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 23 years young and he graduated from high school. Actually, he did have a GED. Your Honor, he resides with his mother and sister and two dogs. We would like to request for no further violent contact. And at this point, we would like to object to BHET since he already has care outside of the jail. I don't think it should be done inside of the jail, and he can be released signature on bond through pretrial level 1 or signature on bond through jail. Thank you.
Get a BHET while he's out, Ms. Kim. So and given that there seem to be some issues, I would prefer that. So it's going to be $1,000 signature bond through the jail on each charge, makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further violent contact with his mom, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. He is to remain on any prescription medication that he is currently prescribed, and I will order BHET. Okay. All right. Good luck to you all.
Thank you.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 17, Mr. Parks.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Parks. You have been charged in case 24 CR 005218J with possession of a pistol or revolver by a person under 18 years of age, reckless conduct, and giving false information to law enforcement. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He does not have an adult criminal history on file, Your Honor. He does appear to meet the criteria for UJR at level 1 with a parental cosigner. Nothing in addition.
Stasiano?
Your Honor, I'm showing that he was on felony first appearance this morning for crossing guard lines of the jail with prohibited items. This incident took place at the H.E. Holmes MARTA station at 17 Hamilton H.E. Holmes Drive. An officer responded to the MARTA station in reference to a fight between the defendant and an unknown male. The officers made contact with a bus driver who witnessed the fight, and he told the officers that the defendant was repeatedly threatening to pull out his firearm and shoot the other individual. And the defendant was detained after that and searched, and the officer found a 9mm in his backpack that was loaded with bullets. When the officer questioned the defendant about his name, he gave him the incorrect spelling of his name and also gave him a fake date of birth. The officer actually had to call his mother to get his correct date of birth to verify what was popping up in GCIC was the same person. Your Honor, this is really concerning to the state considering his age and that he had a weapon and that he was fighting and he was threatening to use that weapon. He does have some other criminal history from juvenile court for felony theft, I'll say that. The state's requesting a $2,000 good bond on each count, a stay away from all of MARTA, a curfew, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is only 17 years old and he is going to Atlanta Technical College for his GED. He is currently enrolled as 11th grade and he plans to become an engineer. He is very good at literature. Your Honor, he got the signature on bond through at the felony court. And I believe that his mother, we have her address, email address only. And I emailed her a Zoom link, hoping that she could come in. Her mother is willing to co-sign for that felony charge. And I'm assuming that she is willing to co-sign for these misdemeanor charges that happened at the same day. He was trying to defend himself. Of course, another guy who was original aggressor was not arrested, and we don't even know who that was. My client is only 17. I would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial, level 1, co-signed by her mother, Tamela Parks, and she is hopefully coming soon. And that's about it, Your Honor. Thank you.
Spell that name for me, Ms. Kim.
Tamela. Last name is the same as a Parks, Parks.
Okay. For the possession of a pistol, $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. The reckless conduct, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. The false information, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. That makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Stay away from MARTA. A curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. Stay in school at Atlanta Tech. Co-signer of Ms. Tamela Parks. Relinquish any weapons that he may have, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your
Okay,
Honor.
all right. Good luck to you, Mr. Parks.
I'm sorry, Judge, one more time with the conditions, stay away, a curfew, the weapons, and what else?
Stay in school at Atlanta Tech.
Second row.
I think you got them all.
Your Honor, can we make sure that the MARTA station is only for one location because he does need to use MARTA to go to Atlanta Tech School?
Your Honor, this incident happened, I believe, on a bus, so I don't think a stay away from the specific station would be very helpful. And I believe, I'm not 100%, but I believe that he would have a suspension at this point for the incident
What are y'all doing?
by MARTA.
Let me just I'll say abide by any MARTA suspensions. So if there is a suspension, he has to abide by it.
Okay.
Okay. All right, who do we have now?
This is position number 3, Your Honor, Mr. Terrence Bonner.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Bonner. You have been charged in case 24 CR 005206D with simple battery family violence. Is there a history? Ms. Jackson.
He has 36 cycles. The last arrest was July the 24th, 2024 in East Point, Georgia for theft by deception. He does appear to have an open case pending in Fulton County for theft by deception. That case number is 24 CR 005088 in the letter D. He has an additional open case pending in Fulton County for 2 counts of theft by deception. That case number is 24 CR 005087 in the letter D. In addition to that, he appears to be on probation in Clayton County for theft by taking. That disposition date was September the 20th, 2021, and the term is for 5 years. He does have prior felony convictions, one in 2018 for financial transaction card theft, one in 2016 for possession of Schedule 3, 4, or 5 controlled substance, and one in 2012 for entering an automobile. And he does have a misdemeanor sentence and a conviction. He received a nolo contendere sentence in 2023 out of DeKalb County for theft by deception. And there was one in 2016 for disorderly conduct. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Your Honor, these dispositions were not on his GCIC. However, they are in State Court of Fulton County. He has a prior simple battery family violence conviction from 2015 against the victim in this case. He has a prior simple battery family conviction of a different victim from 2021. He has a simple battery family violence and a battery family violence conviction with different victims from this court in 2021 as well. And one more battery family violence and cruelty in the third conviction from 2021 involving a different victim. Your Honor, this incident took place on July 14th of this year. Officers were dispatched to 3390 Fairburn Road, apartment S301, in reference to a dispute. The victim in this case is Kenyatta Bonner. It's his sister. It's also the same victim from the 2015 case. She advised that she was sweeping. Her brother came over. He accused her of getting dirt on him, and he aggressively took the broom from her, then pushed her, and then grabbed her arm and slung her onto the couch and then spit on her face. Thankfully, she was not injured. We have been in touch with the victim. She states they're siblings. They do not live together. The incident location is her mother's residence, where she also resides. She states the defendant does not live there and is not welcome there per his mother. She states that she wants no contact and wants him to stay away. Your Honor, given this defendant's extensive history of 4 convictions in the last several years for simple battery, one of which being against the same victim, and his several open cases, Your Honor, he was before the court on SEA last week for his theft by deception cases. The state is requesting a $3,000 good bond in this case, no further contact with Ms. Bonner, a stay away from the incident location, anger management, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. I don't expect Ms. Bonner will be on the line if the court can sound for her at this time.
Kenyatta Bonner on the line that wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Mr. Cook.
Your Honor, my client has a modest income. We would ask for a lower surety bond than that. Beyond that, we have no objection to the conditions.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 surety, no stay away from the Fairburn Road address, no further contact with Kenyatta Bonner, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Bonner.
Your Honor, that was 2,000?
Yes.
All right. Next, we're gonna go to position number 4, Mr. Mays Colburn.
Good afternoon, Mr. Coburn. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005210Y with battery. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, he has 13 cycles. The last arrest was April the 18th, 2024 in Brookhaven, Georgia for battery. He does appear to have an open case pending in DeKalb County for family violence. And he appears to have that case appearing in Brookhaven for battery, Your Honor. He does have one misdemeanor conviction. It's in 2023 out of Johns Creek, Georgia, for a non-fingerprintable offense, a misdemeanor. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Thank you. Tatiana?
Your Honor, I'm also showing that he appears to have an open aggravated assault case and possession of a gun during commission and a robbery, all out of DeKalb. It was indicted November of last year, so I assume it's still open. It may not be. And he also has what appears to be the first offender equivalent to a domestic battery out of the state of Illinois from 2009. Your Honor, this incident took place on July 10th of this year. Officers were dispatched to the Holiday Inn Express Hotel at 1419 Virginia Avenue in College Park. The victim in this case is Jamaica Hatchell. She is the girlfriend of the defendant. She advised that they were at the hotel. Her boyfriend got upset with her because she was gone too long and then struck her in the face. The officers observed that her face and her lips were swollen and the victim was holding a bloody towel. Our office has been in touch with her today. She states that she and the defendant were in a relationship. They do not live together. They do not have children together. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She stated that this is not the first time the defendant's been violent toward her, but this is the first time there's ever been an arrest. She stated that she sustained a bloody nose, a busted lip, and was coughing up blood. She did state that the defendant called her from the Gwinnett County Jail asking her if she was going to press charges. She also received a call from the defendant's mother asking her not to press charges. She wants no contact and would like him to stay away from her residence, which is 2564 Snake Court in Ellenwood. Your Honor, given this defendant's history and that he has 2 open violent cases and a prior conviction, the state is requesting a $2,500 good bond. Absolutely no contact with the victim in this case, and that includes any third party through his mother or any intimidation whatsoever. Stay away from the hotel and her residence, anger management, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And if the court can sound for Miss Hatchett, I believe she's on the line.
Ms. Hatchett, I see you there. If you would like to address the court, you certainly don't have to, but if you would like to, now is your opportunity to do so. If so, you'll have to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in. Okay, doesn't appear that she wishes to address the court. Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 35 years old. He has been in the area for about 8 years. We would be asking for a one-time law enforcement officer visit, sorry, to get his belongings. We would ask for about a $1,500 surety bond. We don't have any issues with any of the other conditions as recommended by the state.
You want a one-time escort to the Holiday Inn location, Mr. Cook?
No, to her, I think to her residence. I think he has belongings at the place where she lives.
Okay. It'll be a $2,000 good bond, no further contact with Ms. Hatchett. Stay away from her residence. He can go back there on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. Also stay away from the Holiday Inn in College Park. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Coburn.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 8, Mr. Paul Hammonds.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hammonds. You've been charged in case 24 CR 0052221E with 2 counts of simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 5 cycles The last arrest was August the 11th, 2018. And I apologize to the court. For some reason, they did not list it. The last arrest. I apologize, Your Honor. Let me pull up the history, and I'm so sorry. It's not listed on the bond assessment.
I'll come back and get the history. Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a delayed arrest. The defendant was arrested this week on outstanding warrants that were taken out based on an incident from July the 11th of 2024. He is charged with simple battery, family violence in 2 counts. One for grabbing the victim by her neck. Her name is Zecdra, Z-E-C-D-R-A, Zecidra. I'm not sure. She could let us know if she wants to how to pronounce her name. Last name is Woods. When it's appropriate, if you don't mind, please sounding for her. And another count of simple battery for pulling her hair. She reported that she and the defendant share 2 children. The incident location, one moment, let me verify it, but the victim in this case reports that she and the defendant share 2 children. Their names are Zarian and Zayana, Lazarian, excuse me. The defendant fled the scene before police arrived. We requested information and some details about whether she was strangled. She reported that she did not feel like she was going to lose consciousness, but that this is not the first time that violence has occurred by the defendant against her. This is a drop-off incident, so an incident during the exchange of their children. She reports that these frequently become violent. We'd be asking for no contact. And let's just say no contact with wherever she may live and where she is. So that would require a third-party transfer of the children if this is a constant issue with drop-off of the children, Your Honor. We would ask for a $5,000 surety bond, $2,500 on each of the counts. Stay away.
Okay. Ms. Jackson?
Yes, sir. He has 5 cycles. The last arrest was August the 11th, 2018 with Georgia Tech, but drugs not in the original container and possession of controlled substance with the intent to distribute. There was no disposition for that arrest. He does have a prior misdemeanor conviction. It's in 2017 for giving false information to an officer. In addition to that, he does appear to have an outstanding hold out of DeKalb County for simple assault and battery family violence. The date on that warrant was December the 29th, 2023. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Ms. Woods, if you're on the line and wish to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I would need for you to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I would have to swear you in if you choose to. Okay, doesn't appear so. Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, we have no objection to the no further contact or the stay away. We certainly would like a third-party transfer of the children. As to the bond itself, we would be seeking a signature bond to whatever level the court deems appropriate.
Ms. Jackson, what was pretrial's recommendation? I'm sorry.
It was a level 2, Your Honor.
Okay.
And Your Honor, it does appear that they're following the incident on July the 11th, order for protection was issued in favor of the victim in this case.
Okay, thank
So
you.
we would request that contact with the children follow any previously entered court rulings related to custody and visitation. It doesn't appear that these children have been legitimated or that they are the product of a marriage.
Okay. For each charge, it'll be a $25 $100 signature bond through pretrial level 2, makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No further contact with Ms. Woods. Stay away from her residence. Follow any previously existing court rulings regarding visitation and transfer of the children. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Hammonds.
Next, we're going to position number 10, Mr. DeAndre Johnson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Johnson. You have been charged in case 24 CR 005212G with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 9 cycles. The last arrest was August the 29th, 2021 in Chamblee, Georgia for driving while license suspended or revoked and prohibit purchase and sale of marijuana. It's like flavored products to minors. There was no disposition for that arrest, Your Honor. He does appear to be on probation in Gwinnett County for possession of a firearm or a knife during commission of a felony. That disposition date was June the 6th, 2022, and the term is 5 years of probation. He does have a prior felony conviction. It's in 2014 out of DeKalb County for burglary in the first degree. And he does have prior misdemeanor convictions and a sentence. It's one in 2015 out of Clayton County for simple battery and simple assault. He received a nolo contendere sentence in 2015 out of North Cross, Georgia for possession of marijuana less than an ounce. And there was one in 2014 out of Gwinnett County for theft by taking. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Pretrial recommendation. I'm sorry, Ms. Jackson.
Sorry, Your Honor. He was recommended for UJR level 2. Nothing in addition.
Thank
Your Honor, this incident took place May 28th of this year at the Hampton Inn Hotel at 769 Hammond Drive in Sandy Springs. The victim in this case is Andreen Brown. They were visiting the hotel. However, she states that they lived together at their residence. They got into an argument in their vehicle in the parking lot of the hotel, and he pushed her out of the car, causing her to fall onto the pavement and cut up her hips and her elbows. And the officer also observed that her finger was bleeding. The state's requesting an SOB through pretrial level 2, no further contact with Miss Brown, a stay away from the Hammond Drive address, which is the hotel, and also their residence, wherever that is. Anger awareness, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. Our office has not been in touch with Miss Brown today. If the court can sound for her this time.
What's her first name, Ms. Essiana?
Adrian, I believe, or Andreen, maybe.
Adrian or Andreen Brown is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Yes, Mr. Cook.
Yes, Your Honor, we would get to the anger awareness course. We would be asking for a signature bond at level 1. Beyond that, we have no objection to the state's recommendation.
Your $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No further contact with Ms. Brown. Stay away from her residential address. Also stay away from the Hampton Inn in Sandy Springs. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah. Next is going to be position number 14, Mr. Mensah.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mensah. You have been charged in case 24 CR 005215C with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 8 cycles. The last arrest was September the 4th, 2013, out of Cook County, Illinois. For criminal trespassing, he does have one prior felony conviction in 2009 out of Illinois for vehicle hijacking, and two misdemeanor convictions out of Illinois, one in 2013 for criminal trespassing, an additional one in 2013 out of Illinois for DUI. He does what he was recommended for UJR level 2. Nothing in addition.
Thank you, Ms. Desiano.
Your Honor, this incident took place on July 28th. The officers responded to a call regarding a man beating a woman at 3301 Lenox Road. Upon arrival, they made contact with the victim, Renee Spicer. She lives with the defendant in Illinois. She was sleeping and the defendant went through her phone. He got upset at something he saw and started punching her and kicking her. The officer noted that the injuries of the victim were quite serious. In this case, her eye was so swollen, it was swollen shut. She had bruises all over her face and what the officer characterized as very serious damage to her mouth. Our office has been in touch with the victim today. She states that she and the defendant are married. They live together in Chicago. They have 3 children. They were visiting in Atlanta for a family reunion. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She states that the children were in the next room when the incident occurred. She states that this is not the first time the defendant's been violent toward her, but this is the first time that the police have been involved. She stated that she wants no contact and wants him to stay away from their residence in Illinois, Your Honor, to the extent you have jurisdiction over that. She also states that she's not agreeable with a third-party transfer of their children at this time. And Your Honor, because they aren't residents here, I don't think the court has jurisdiction over the children anyway. And I would just ask if the court would defer to whatever jurisdiction is proper in Chicago for the custody of the children. Because, Your Honor, he doesn't have ties to this community. He does have some history and it's very old. However, given his lack of community ties here, the state would request a surety bond, $2,500, no further contact with Ms. Spicer, a stay away from the incident location and the victim's residence in Illinois to the extent this court has jurisdiction over that, anger management, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And if this court can sound for Ms. Spicer.
The Lenox Road address, what is that address, Ms.
It
Desiano?
is 3301 Lenox Road.
Is that a hotel or?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Look it up.
I see a Renee on the line. If this is Miss Renee Spicer and you wish to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. If you choose to, you have to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I have to swear you in.
Your Honor, it looks like it could be.
Okay, you have to activate your camera for me, Miss Spicer. Okay, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. Thank you, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
I'm fine with everything, just as long as we have the no contact order.
Anything further, ma'am?
No, that's it.
All right, thank you for being here this afternoon. Yes, Ms. Desiano.
Your Honor, I believe it's the Hyatt in Buckhead.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, we have no objection to the stay away from the Hyatt or no further contact order. They do live in Chicago. I don't know to what extent. Well, they live in Chicago, so I'm not sure how far the order would run. We would be asking for a third-party transfer of the children if that can be effected through an order here. Beyond that, we would be asking for a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate.
Going to be a $2,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Spicer. Stay away from the Hyatt on Lenox Road. Stay away from the residential address of Ms. Spicer. Abide by any court mandated visitation orders. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Benson.
Your Honor, I have a few announcements.
Okay.
Position number 5 is a waiver. Position number 6 is a waiver. Position number 7 is going to be a medical reset. He's on suicide watch.
And that'll be reset till 7:30 tomorrow.
Position number 9 is also a waiver.
Okay.
That should be it.
Officer Norris, did you say Christopher Fannin, position 7 is a medical reset suicide watch?
That's what I said. Yes, sir.
Okay, I wasn't doubting you. I just wanted to be clear. Okay,
I got you.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's start with position 5. Mr. Mario Dawson, charged in case 24 CR 005220G with 2 counts of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, criminal trespass, and theft by shoplifting. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 22 cycles. The last arrest was May the 4th, 2024 in Fulton County for a charge that council may want to waive sounding on. Okay. He does appear to be on probation for in Fulton County for a fray. That case number is 23 CR 00506-1 in the letter G. That disposition date was September the 14th, 2023, and the term is for 12 months. And he does appear to be on probation for the charge that's associated with the CWAC. That case number is 24 CR 00340-1 in the letter G. That disposition date was July the 16th, 2024, and the term is for 12 months. Also, he appears to be on probation in Fulton County for simple battery. That case number is 24 CR 000916 and the letter D. That disposition date is March the 21st, 2024, and the term is for 12 months. Also, he does appear to be on probation for a charge associated with the CWAC and possession and use of drug-related objects. That case number is 24 CR 00280-8 and the letter D. That disposition date was May the 21st, 2024, and the term is for 12 months. He does appear to have a prior felony conviction since 2016 for 2 counts of aggravated battery, and he does have misdemeanor convictions and a sentence, one in 2022 for disorderly conduct, and he received a nolo contendere sentence in 2019 for theft by shoplifting, and there was one in 2010, a misdemeanor conviction for theft by shoplifting. Nothing in addition. He does appear to meet the criteria for a UJR, a level 3. Nothing in addition.
Thank you, Ms. Allen.
Pretrial is correct. It looks like between March and July of this year, the defendant was in custody and entered guilty pleas to maybe 3 or 4 cases involving unconsented to touching or an assault, and is currently on probation. This is an incident from the 27th of July, Your Honor. The incident location is the Chevron Food Mart at 343 Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard Southwest. Police were responding to the scene of a damage to the property. They spoke to the clerk, Mr. Gaba, G-A-B-A. He reported that the defendant had entered into the location, walked straight over to the alcohol section and grabbed two 12 packs. and then exited the door. He exited the door quickly and did so by damaging it, kicking it open, and causing it to come off of its hinges. Video surveillance was shown to law enforcement officers that showed exactly what the clerk there at the Chevron Food Mart said had happened. They did a canvass of the location in the area and found the defendant located under a bridge nearby, cracking open a cold one, wearing the same clothes he had just been seen wearing on surveillance. Two different police officers tried to get him to stop and talk to them, and he fled for both of them. He eventually stopped when he was threatened with the taser. So these are willful obstruction, theft by shoplifting, and a criminal trespass. Your Honor, there are 4 counts here. You heard an extensive amount of criminal history, and the defendant is not here before you today, but we would argue that there is a need for some kind of evaluation just based on the facts of the last year and the multiple convictions for unwanted touchings. We would ask for a $1,000 good bond on each of the charges and to stay away from the Chevron at 343 Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard, Your Honor. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Thank you.
Your Honor, we don't object to the conditions recommended by the state. We would be seeking a signature bond. I couldn't follow the whole history, so I'm not sure if he's within or without the restrictions at whatever level the court deems appropriate. We do not have an objection to a BHET. I think that's probably where we should start, and we can go from there.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. He's also homeless. I apologize. I should have mentioned that. And he has no income.
Okay, it'll be a $250 good bond on each charge, makes for $1,000 good bond, social worker visit, BHET, stay away from the Chevron on Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. If you would have the social worker reported the BHET at, if he doesn't get out by August 8th, ready for the judge of SAP, it'd be appreciated, Mr. Cook.
I will try. Thank you, Your Honor.
And that was for position number 5, correct?
Yes, Dawson.
Okay.
Let's see, position number 6 is Diallo, who's charged in case 24 CR 005187H with 2 counts of willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 18 cycles. The last arrest was June the 11th, 2024, for a probation violation in Chamblee, Georgia. I was unable to find that conviction listed in the GCIC, Your Honor. He does have prior misdemeanor convictions, one in 2018 for theft by shoplifting and one in obstruction of an officer. And there was an additional one in 2018 for theft by receiving stolen property. He does appear to meet the criteria for UJRA level 3. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Ms. Allen?
This is my case. This was reset from Saturday. The defense did not want to waive Mr. Diallo's appearance on Saturday. The case has been accused. This is 2 counts of willful obstruction. While officers at the MARTA station at North Avenue were on patrol, they observed the defendant who matched a description of a bolo, a snatch theft that had just occurred. They approached him to detain him, and he resisted by twisting and turning his body and breaking away from officers. He has multiple obstruction and theft convictions, as well as battery in a public transit and obstruction from 2022. We would ask for a $1,500 or actually $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3 as recommended by probation, Your Honor, and to stay away from MARTA properties.
So he wasn't arrested for anything else. He wasn't.
The only charges I have are the obstruction, Your Honor.
Look,
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 29 years old, has very little income. If I read the SB 63 correctly, the obstruction would keep him out of a jail SOB. So we would have no objection to the recommendations of the state.
$500 SOB through pretrial on each charge. Level 1 makes for $1,000 signature bond through pretrial. Level 1, abide by any MARTA suspensions and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Okay, I believe our last one is position number 9, Michael Hartsfield, charged in case 24 CR 005195E with loitering and prowling. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, he has 33 cycles. The last arrest was August the 18th, 2021. It's a federal arrest for a probation violation. He does appear to have an open case pending in Fulton County for aggravated assault, battery, family violence, and simple assault and terroristic threats acts. That case number is 22 SC 184820. He does have prior felony convictions. One in 2015 was a federal conviction for possession of cocaine with the intent to distribute, and heroin, possession of heroin with the intent to distribute, and one in 2003 for burglary, and one in 1994 out of Clayton County for theft by taking, and one in 1983 out of Florida for robbery. And he does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 3, nothing in addition.
Alan?
Thank you, Your Honor. This defendant is restricted based on a prior armed robbery conviction. This is a loiter and prowl case, Your Honor, from June the 30th of 2024, so a delayed arrest. He was on first appearance scheduled for Saturday and wanted to waive his appearance, but I feel like that was also an issue like the last defendant. The defendant was stopped by an officer working as security at the location behind building 1101 due to recent burglaries. He'd been seen on camera looking at ATVs behind the vehicle. He was asked about why he was there. It was 3 a.m. And he admitted he did not reside there and did not belong there. We would just ask for $1,000 surety, Your Honor, and to stay away from the location. Let me make sure the information I have is correct about where this occurred. Otherwise, we'd leave the rest to your discretion. Obviously, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Yes, Your Honor, if I heard the sounding correctly, a past conviction puts him in a restricted. Did I hear that correctly? Okay, thank you. Your Honor, we would ask for a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate. No problem with stay away. My client is 70 years old. He's lived in the Atlanta area his entire life. He's in retirement. He has a very modest income. Beyond that, we would leave it to your discretion.
Your Honor, the location is 1770 Richmond Circle, Southeast in Atlanta. The defendant actually had a co-defendant at this date. This is the town at Lakewood Heights apartment complex.
Okay. It'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Stay away from the incident location and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. All right, I believe that completes the 2 o'clock calendar.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, yes, who's
My name
speaking?
is, yes, my name is Kim Trainum. I'm Trinice Taylor's mother. I was told that she was supposed to be seen by you at 2 o'clock. Now, I've been listening to everybody's case, and I have not heard my daughter's case. I have not seen her or heard her, and this is what the link they gave me.
I'm sorry, Miss Trainum. I don't seem to have your daughter on my calendar. Can we, what's your
Your Honor,
daughter's?
she was put on our calendar today, my understanding in an as an accident. She received a SOB sign-on bond. Let me pull it up.
What does that mean?
Okay, one moment, we'll get to you. I promise we'll make sure you get the information you need.
Please.
She received an order on Saturday signed by Judge Law to go to the program, so she wouldn't be added to the calendar today.
She was
Judge
given the
Law
That's what-
opportunity to do diversion.
That's what Fulton,
Judge Law signed the order, and the order was sent out to the jail earlier today, so she wasn't to be on our calendar today at all.
She's to be released. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so Ms. Trainum, you're muted there. I'm not sure we can get her unmuted, but yes, ma'am, an order was signed and she's going to be released, okay? So I'm not sure when that's going to be. You might want to call the jail to find out when they anticipate that she'll be released if you want to pick her up.
okay. It's been so confusing, the back and the forth. They told me today too, and I listened to all your cases. You're a good judge. Thank you so much. I learned a lot, but I just wanted to hear about my daughter.
Yeah, ma'am, I understand. So, do you have any other questions for us?
Oh, well, let me tell you this about her case. How can she be charged?
Okay, hold on. You can't talk about it while she's not here, okay? So you'll have another opportunity. It appears that she's gotten a signature bond, so speak with your daughter, and she probably had an attorney when she was here, okay? So let's not discuss her case while she's not here, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, ma'am. You have a good rest of the afternoon. I appreciate you being on the line with us.
Oh, Judge,
All right, thank you.
Judge, I think she was a plant. I really do, with that compliment. I really do.
No, I'm for real.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge, I do not mean to interrupt you. Can you give me the breakdown on position 6 again, please?
Yes, I can. It's 500 per charge, makes it $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1.
Okay, level 1. Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Yes, Ms. Strong.
Position number 1 was $1,000. Well, let me start over. The reset date is not the 8th, it's the 13th. I apologize.
Okay.
Position number 1, $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Position number 2 was a $2,000 good bond, reset SAP. 3 was a $2,000 good bond, reset SAP. 4 was a $2,000 good bond, reset SAP. Position number 5, $1,000 good bond, reset SAP. 6 was a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 7 will be reset for tomorrow medical. Position number 8 was a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 9, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 10 was a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 11, $6,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 12, $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 13, $2,000 signature bond through the jail. 14, $2,000 good bond, reset SAP. 15, $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 16, $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. 17 was a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3 with the parental cosigner. 18 was a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 19, $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. 20 was a $1,000 signature bond through the jail. 21, $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 22, $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. 23 was a $2,000 good bond reset for SAP. On
Let's
the
go
ad
back.
account,
Oh,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. Oh, no, I'll catch up there. Go ahead.
Position number 1 on the add-on calendar was a $2,500 good bond reset SAP, and position number 2 on the add-on was a $3,000 good bond reset SAP. I'm sorry, what was your question, Judge?
Going back to position 16, Mr. Overton,
Yes, sir.
I have $500 on each charge except for the
Okay.
simple assault where I have
One,
$1,000.
2. Oh, it's 3,500, correct?
That's
Right.
what.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns? If not, thank you all. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good evening.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Judge.
Your Honor, you too.
Thank you, Judge. You as well.
Thank you.